My name is Charles Wickersham, and I'm a pharmacist. I got into running in community college. It was hard work, didn't enjoy it. Then I ran a little bit more at UC Davis with some friends, started to enjoy it. Then when I got to pharmacy school, I needed it as an escape from having to study. I might skip class and go running just to have some alone time to digest the material I'd learned from the day before. Then it pretty much faded off as I started my career. You know, once you get busy enough in your career and your stress level gets high enough and you have a baby that wakes you up in the middle of the night, you find yourself longing for something that was a lot more simplistic and enjoyable. I hadn't run a race in 7 years, and then once I did it, just that one short race, I was hooked again. I was running a lot of the local 5Ks, and I was meeting a lot of people, and I joined my running club. But the more I talked to people in a running club, it sounded like you had to do a marathon. The first marathon I chose was the San Francisco Marathon, and that was July 31st, 2007. And that was one of the biggest experiences of my life. Once you get into a new hobby, you find out there's another level to the hobby and another level. So this was just one of the stepping stones up towards running longer and longer races.
So you got to have your GPS watches. So I brought 3 of these, all borrowed from my friends.
I had never gone over 50 miles. And I had no idea what my body would do, what would happen to me nutritionally.
So I'll be drinking a few Ensures throughout the middle of the night.
With my sodium levels.
These are sodium capsules and they have numbers on them, so I'll take 1 an hour.
With my glycogen levels.
So I'll be carrying one of these with me at all times.
And obviously my glucose level.
And then I've got sugar pills in here just in case.
But all these parameters, I had no idea how I could handle.
I'll take one of these about every 5 miles. These will become very important as the night goes on. And I've got plenty of Tylenol. I've got to have a coffee drink of some sort. I have 3 iPods, each one will last about 8 hours, and several pairs of running shoes.
I just needed to answer those questions. So the San Francisco One Day, it's really it's a festive event. There are some very competitive runners there, but most everybody out there is to have a good time. At Crissy Field in San Francisco, it's just the perfect spot to relax and run as far as you can. I mean, in as many miles as you can do in 24 hours. This course, first you run west and you're looking right at the Golden Gate Bridge. So you get 40% of your running looking at the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's a beautiful view, and you have the sun at your back in the morning. And as you turn around and you start heading back to the direction you came, you get to look at Alcatraz, Angel Island, you can see the pyramid, the Palace of Fine Arts, the Exploratorium, all that's in your view.
Some races, if you run a marathon, you're expected to run fast the whole way and it feels like work. This won't feel like work until maybe 12 hours into it.
As you're running the first 10, 15, 20 miles, you're talking to people and saying hi.
It'll be like, we'll start too fast the first few laps, everybody will get their adrenaline out of the way and everybody will slow down and settle into a normal pace.
And it might sound strange, but some people take 15 to 20 miles to get warmed up when they're running. For myself, everything was going pretty smooth, I'd say, throughout the day. Then as the fog was lifting off, probably getting close to 25, well, probably 20 miles at that point, all of a sudden the heat feels a little bit stronger than I was expecting. So for me, the whole day was focusing on not overheating, and because during the early hours of an ultra, you can be tempted to run too fast, lose too much sweat, become dehydrated, lose too much sodium. So the afternoon ended up being a lot more mild than I thought, and so it went relatively smooth.
They say the first 8 to 12 hours is your physical fitness, then the rest is all mental. So hopefully I have the mental training to get through.
Actually, it was about 5:30 in the afternoon, I think, when I hit 50 miles. I finally gave myself a chance to sit down and change my shoes. And that actually came at just the perfect point, because towards the end of that first 50 miles, I did start to lose my motivation a little bit.
It's been a real struggle from 40 to 50, but I got there. So hopefully this little rest gives me some energy to get moving again. And then I'm at mile 50 right now, and the danger is sitting, and they always say beware of the chair, because if you sit, you cramp up and you don't want to get up again. And so that's why I'm in danger if I don't move pretty quick again, because otherwise I won't get going anywhere.
And I was able to go ahead and run pretty much the next about 38 miles. And I'd say until I got to about mile 88, I was feeling pretty good.
So a little tired, just the legs are getting a little sore. Is that normal? No, I'm kidding.
Well, how many miles is this now?
Yeah, my guess is it's like 68, 67. I'm toying around with trying to hit 100 by 20 hours, but it may not be in the cards, so it may have to be 21 hours or so. But I definitely think I can hit it. It's just as long as I don't walk too much. And it's hard not to walk at this stage, so sure. I gotta keep my legs moving. When you feel like you can't finish, sometimes they call it a bonk, or you hit the wall, and that happens in marathons at mile 20. But for me, I bonked once at 30, I bonked again at 50, and I know I bonked at 65-ish, and then at mile 88, I probably had my worst bonk, and that was where I just couldn't pick my feet up to make the running motion, and my Achilles tendon locked up. My quad muscles had no desire to continue running. I couldn't lift my feet off the ground. I had gravel in my shoes and blisters going on the feet. And even my water bottle was getting so heavy I felt like I couldn't carry it anymore. You know, you hit this point in your body where you know you're done, your mind knows you're done. And I think I hit that point. And it's too bad that point comes before 100 miles in terms of just pure running. But it did. Sometimes that point comes at mile 40, mile 60, but at mile 88, I just knew that my hips and my ankles were tired of the jarring and the pounding on the same surface. And I was content to walk as fast as I could to get it done, and we probably walked 15-minute miles to get it done. And so it took 20 hours and 44 minutes to finish 100 miles, or 100.8 miles. And I was content. That was a good day. We made it pretty far, but anything beyond that, I think I was risking getting sick, so I was content to stop at that point. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it every now and then, but you know, and then not to mention, I actually had to pay someone to get to do this. So not only was I dumb enough to do it, I shelled out $100 and something bucks, I think, to get to run around a place that you could run for free. I guess it seems abnormal to anyone who doesn't run, but the funny thing is, when I come to a place like this, I'm surrounded by 150 other crazy people. So from my standpoint, I feel kind of normal when I'm around these people running around the clock. But to anybody else watching, they see a person who has no concept of when to stop, I suppose. And I really need a beer.